What's up, Willowbrook? Today I want to start by asking you a question. Would you attempt to do something if you knew that it would fail? So whether that's attempting to start a new business or a new hobby, whatever that may be, would you try it out if you knew that it would fail? If you're like me, you're probably thinking no. But what if God asked you to do something that would fail? Would that change your mind? You know, this is what I see in our chapter today, Exodus chapter 7. See, in verse 2, God tells Moses and Aaron to say everything he's commanded them to say to Pharaoh. But then in verse 4, he says that Pharaoh won't listen. And then later on in the chapter, verse 14, God says that Pharaoh's heart is unyielding and he will not let the people go. But then he tells Moses and Aaron in the next verse to meet Pharaoh again at the Nile. You know, this seems like a mission that's doomed from the start. And you know, oftentimes in our own lives, we judge whether or not we're in the will of God by success or failure. When we experience success, we assume that we're in God's will. And on the other side of that, when we experience failure, we assume we're out of God's will or we're being disobedient. But you know, what about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the Bible? They were obedient to God and they were thrown in the fiery furnace. What about Jesus? He was doing God's will and he ended up on a cross. And this looked like failure. When I think through this and when I think through today's chapter, one thing stands out to me. And it's this: the story is not over. The story is not over. And that's true for Moses and Aaron in today's chapter. And it's also true for us in our lives today. You know, you may feel like you're in a place where you've been obedient, you've been following God's will, you've been following God's plan for your life, but you've experienced failure. Today, I want to remind you, I want to encourage you that the story, your story, is not over. Because even in the midst of failure, our obedience to God is never a failure. The story is not over. God bless you.